Hello guys, welcome to another video. Like always, the link to the original post will be in the description. That being said, let's get into the video. Son of the Sannin, Chapter 11 and Part 11. The Uchiha Coup, Part 3, Uchiha's End, or Sharingan versus Sharingan. After 30 minutes that felt like hours, Tsunade was finally out of danger. Shizune had made an admirable effort in closing her wound and leaving no effect. Still, Tsunade had lost quite some blood and felt awfully weak. She doubted she could fight again. Still, that didn't mean she couldn't be of help. Tsunade-sama, how do you feel? Shizune asked as she helped her master to get on her feet. Much better, thanks to you. Should I fetch the kids? Absolutely no. The kids will stay in the shelter until this calms down a little. Besides, we have still some work to do. Tsunade replied as she smoked her finger, smoked her finger and wet blood of her wound, and after 5 seconds, and after 5 hands, she also summoning jutsu. From a cloud of smoke, a massive white slug with blue back appeared. Katsuyu, the village is under attack. I need you to reach all the wounded and use our link to let me heal them. Tsunade instructed, but ignored the Uchihas. They are the ones who are behind this attack. Understood, Tsunade-sama, Katsuyu replied before splitting into similar clones of her and spreading through the village. Tsunade-sama, are you sure you can do this? The immense network healing requires a lot of chakra, and you just sustained a potentially fatal injury. The length Tsunade was willing to push herself her apprentice to worried her apprentice to no end. I know, that's why I am using the part of your chakra too. If you don't mind, of course I don't, but still the amount of energy this jutsu requires would mean your death. Wouldn't die today, Shizune. Do you think I am going to leave you and the kids along with Jiraiya? Tsunade chuckled weakly. Now come on, we have a village to save. Tsunade and Shizune sat down in front of each other, holding their hands and started to channel their chakra towards Katsuyu. During this long life, Hiruzen Sarutobi was a man that had been present in a myriad of battles, especially during the first two Ninja World Wars. Some he won, some he lost, all in which he managed to escape alive. Some against ninja of very major villages or against ninja of a minor village, and sometimes against independent clans. Hell, he even fought against the strongest tail beast and lived to tell the tale. Something only Hashirama did before. Appro- uh, Paradox Paradoxically, it was all these battles and the death that ensured that snapped Sarutobi into a man whose goal was the pure pursuit of peace and understanding, a goal he tried to instill on his students with various degrees of success and a single catastrophic fail, because no man or woman should go through what the third Hokage went through. And truth be told, turned out relatively fine, unlike his friend Danzo Shimura, experience was just as extensive and gruesome. Yet he turned into an unemotional, unmerciful extremist extremist. This wasn't also the first time that either him or a predecessor had to fight against a traitor. He had fought against Orochimaru many years ago when the Anbu discovered the unethical experiments he was conducting, and to this day still wondered if he should have killed his former student. when he got the chance, and the first Hokage had to fight against his former friend Madara Uchiha. But even then, Orochimaru and Madara were just individuals with an unchecked ambition. This was the first time an entire clan revolted against Konoha. Which part of him remained Tobirama's senses warning about the Uchiha being dangerous. Another part couldn't help but make him feel that this was his fault for letting this happen and not putting more effort in repairing the relationship between the Uchiha and the village. And now, surrounded by the Uchiha patriot and his elite ninja, Sarutobi knew he was going to die. This wasn't afraid to. He wasn't afraid to just die, though he never hesitated to take potential suicide mission. But the fact that the village would be just in equal or even great awful state than it was after the QB attack, just like his predecessor and his one successor. He succeeded that it was the Hokage's fate to die protecting the village from its enemies. But in Sarutobi's case, he would die fighting against fellow villagers. Before we start, answer me one last thing, Sarutobi said. What happened to Shisui Uchiha? Shisui, why do you ask? Fugaku asked puzzled. Was he some sort of double agent of you or what? Yes, he had a plan to stop you, but I never heard from him after the last time we spoke. Was he found out by your peers? We weren't aware of Shishui's tragedy, traitority. But given his friendship with Itachi, it shouldn't be a surprise. But to answer your question, the last time any of the clansmen saw Shishui he was talking with some Anbu. Anbu? That can be right, unless oh no, Danzo. What have you done? Hiruzen moaned in realization. On top of that, you can't even keep your subordinates under stabs. It's amazing this village has had lasted as long as it did. But fear not, Hiruzen, a new golden era is about to begin. But first, we must get rid of relics of the past. Fukaku shouted as he flew through hand seals, fire release, great fireball jutsu. Fukaku breathed there's a massive fireball at Hiruzen. The old Hokage proved to be deceptive fast for someone his age and dodged the flaming projectile, jumping aside. However, two Uchihas were already waiting for him with their katana already coming down on his head with a quick hand movement. A large black staff with gold tips appeared on Hiruzen's hand, blocking the double blow. Much to the two Uchiha's surprise, taking advantage of their status, Hiruzen pushed their swords aside and smacked them on their faces. A trio of Uchihas leaped at him, and while they were in mid-air, they pulled some shurikens from their pouches and tossed them at Hiruzen. Behind you, shuriken rain. The staff shouted, surprising some of the Uchihas. Hiruzen merely nodded and formed many hand seals as fast as he could. Art release, Art Dome Jutsu. The ground started to shake, and in an instant, the Hokage was protected by a dense dome of rock that stopped all the shurikens. The ground started to shake, and in an instant, the Hokage was protected. Break that dome now, Fukaku ordered. A female Uchiha Jonin nodded and went through several hands. It was lightning release, mighty thunder. The Uchiha woman put her hands together above her hands, and they it started to crackle with electricity. A swift motion, she brought her hands forward, releasing several streams of lightning that shattered the rock dome Sarutobi was using to hide. Before it was completely destroyed, Sarutobi leaped from it. He pulled out a sealing scroll and unsealed a Fuma Shuriken. He tossed it before making a hand seal shadow clone Shadow Clone Shuriken Jutsu. Suddenly, a single Fumao Shuriken became 20. The Uchiha tried to avoid the rain of metallic death, and except one of all of them managed to avoid that giant weapon. Alright, one down. Let's see if I can get some lucky shots. Sarutobi thought as he landed. The corner of his eyes caught another Uchiha forming hand seals. Fire release, heat orbs, barrage. Several spiral yellow fireballs appeared around the Uchiha, almost like they were miniature stars. With a hand motion, he directed them at the Hokage, running through the attacker. Hiruzen spurred his staff as fast as he could to deflect the heat orbs, and upon reaching the Uchiha, he slugged his mighty weapon at him. The Uchiha jumped aside, but much to his shock, a hairy white-haired arm emerged from the staff and grabbed the unfortunate Uchiha's neck. With a smack crunch, the Uchiha crashed to be careful with that staff. It's actually the Monkey King Enma, a boss summon. It's extremely dangerous. Fugaku warned to his remaining clansmen. New plan. I will fight him directly. Rest of you cover me. Uchiha Uchiha Patrius dashed at Sarutobi, his katana ready to slice him. Both men clashed their weapons, hitting and uh, parrying each other's blows. Whenever the other Uchiha saw an opening, they would use a fire jutsu or plate the Hokage with shurikens or kunais. Unfortunately, some of these weapons found their mark. A poorly timed fireball almost hit Fukaku, forcing the Uchiha leader to jump backward, giving Sarutobi some time and space to breathe. Time he was going to be used wisely. It was about time to use the jutsu his two mentors developed in order to fight the Uchihas and other clans with special eye powers. He formed a hand seals, Yen release, bringer of darkness, a mantle of shadow covered the entire Hokage tower. Not even the Sharingan would be able to see through this jutsu. However, due to this dual chakra, Sarutobi could only keep this jutsu active for a few seconds. Kenshin, track the Hokage now! Fugaku shouted on it. The Uchiha senses timed before making a hand seals in no time he located the Hokage. Got him. He is behind. Natural, Naturally, Hiruzen wasn't stupid enough not to target the essential ninja first. Kenshi, other Uchihas yelled, and thus making his position for Sarutobi. The Hokage slightly dashed towards him and broke his skull with a well-placed hit to the head and adamantium staff. Sarutobi found himself unable to keep the jutsu active, and the darkness reduced. Fugaku contemplated in disgust the bodies of the Uchiha the Hokage had just killed. Even in your old age, you are on the silent son of a wench. Did somebody tell you that? Fugaku spotted clearing at Shiruzen quite a few times. In fact, it's part of the job description. Sarutobi replied, allowing himself to chuckle. To think that you killed four of my clanmen already. There's nobody else but you to blame for their deaths. I know that's why now I have to make sure that their sacrifice isn't in vain. Senju residents underground shelter, Naruto couldn't help but feel amazed at the sheer forces his parents had when they built the underground shelter. It consisted mostly in a massive single room as big as the two floors of their house. There were multiple shelves full of canned and bottled water as well as good amount of medical supplies. While there was no visible decoration, there was some furniture as well, such as a large table, a few chairs, a pair of couches, and a pair of clothes. And just like Shizune said there was even a bathroom which had a hefty supply of toilet paper. The walls were almost entirely covered in paper seals. Naruto managed to identify a few of them, such as armor seal and shield seal. The former were used to ensure that hardness of whatever it was applied to, and the latter was used to nullify chakra-based attacks, mostly ninjutsu. There were also once silence seals which couldn't let any sound out of the room, but it would let the uh, operator of room hear what was going on outside. There were many other seals that Naruto didn't recognize, such as mirror seal and camouflage seal, which in conjunction made it nearly impossible for the shelter to be detected unless somebody already knew where it was located. He had heard his Izune said that not even a Sharingan or a Byakugan would be able to see through these seals. Naruto had been told that due to both his heritage and status as a Jinchuriki, many people would want to either hurt him or kidnap him, and thus they needed to their best to protect him. But this, what kind of threat they deserve is something like this shelter. Were his parents aware of whatever was happening right now? If yes, why didn't they do anything to stop it before it happened? Naruto had far too many questions in his head. He needed to talk their parents whenever everything calmed down. The blonde Jinchuriki was snapped from his thoughts when he felt somebody tug the sleeve of his shirt. It was Kaide who was looking at him with worried eyes. Naruto Nisan, is mom and Shizune Nisan going to be okay? The white haired girl asked. Naruto also wondered that he had heard many yells, clashes, and explosions, but after some time there was nothing but silence. Still, he was aware of how strong his adopted mother and big sisters were, and refused to believe that they were dead. Besides, he was also had to be strong, or else the twins would panic. Of course they are. Mom is the strongest woman who ever lived, Naruto said, putting up the best of his smiles. You should have seen her when we train. She can bring down a tree with just one punch. You can imagine anybody being able to hurt her? Kaide slowly shook his head. Exactly. Yeah, guess that you're right, Kaida admitted, unconvinced. Naruto formed. He really needed to do something so the twins would take their minds off what was going on outside. Hey, since we are going on, spend some time here. How about if we play something to pass the time? I'm sure mom and dad also left some board games or something like that. So let's take a look. Yes, both of the twins said in unison, and the three kids split off to cover more ground. Kaede looked in the closet, but all there was were the spare clothes of many sizes, the similar ones for her and her brother, and bigger ones for the adults. Naruto inspected the shelves, but all that he found was food and water. Hanage, however, found something behind one of the couches. Hey, take a look at this, the white-haired boy said. Naruto and Kaede dropped what they were doing and rushed at Hanage's side. In front of Hanage there was a cardboard box full of items such as scrolls, a couple books, worn out clothes, and used ninja tools. One of the things that caught Naruto's attention was an opened envelope full of pictures. The Jinchuriki grabbed the envelope and took out the photographs from it. The twins also watched them intently. Hey, look, that's that, Hanage pointed out. The first one was a picture of a much younger Jiraiya alongside three kids. While there were nothing remarkable about the two of them, the third one got Naruto's immediate interest. A kid with spiky blonde hair and deep blue eyes. Hey, that kid looks a lot like you, Nii-chan. Kaida pointed out, voicing Naruto's thought. Do you know who he is? Jiraiya had told Naruto how he was his father's sensei and how he would train Naruto so he could surpass his dad. Hey, a sad smile frowned on his face. Yeah, I think I have an idea. Naruto put that picture at the back of his palm and watched the next one. A brown-haired man with three other kids, one with long white hair, the others with long black hair, and a blonde girl with a ponytail. Who are those? Hanage asked. Naruto chuckled. Come on! Don't tell me that can't recognize your parents. Both eyes opened wide. Those are mom and dad. No way! Kaide exclaimed. And who is the other guy? He looks scary, Hanage said as he pointed at the third teammate. Jiraiya and Tsunade almost never talked about the third teammate. All what Naruto knew is that his name was Orochimaru and that he and Jiraiya had a falling out many years before Naruto was born. Another thing I will have to ask Dad about, Naruto thought. And who is this man? Naruto laughed once again. You might not recognize him now, but this man is the old man Hokage himself. Really? But why isn't he wearing the Hokage hat? Kaide asked. The Hokage doesn't wear the hat all the time. I mean, he doesn't wear the same clothes all the time, right? But whenever I saw the Hokage, he always wears that hat. Hanage mentioned. Maybe he wasn't the Hokage yet, Naruto wanted, but unbeknownst to him, Hiruzen was already the Hokage when he was Jiraiya and Tsunade's sensei. They continued watching pictures. Most of them were Jiraiya with somebody else, though there were a couple of their biological parents on that. Caught Naruto's attention was one in which appeared with three other kids, an orange-haired boy, a red-haired boy, and a weird eye and a snaky blue yeah, an orange-haired boy, a red-haired boy with weird eyes, and a smiling blue-haired girl. Dad never told me about his. He was the sense of another team. Man, I don't think I am going to remember all these things. I have to ask him. Hey, look at this book, Hanage said as he grabbed one of the books from the box. Naruto paled upon hearing his brother a few months ago. He learned what kind of books his father used to write for a living. What he read disgusted him, and his respect for Jiraiya dropped considerably. "Don't touch that!" Naruto shouted as he snatched the book from his brother's hand. "Hey! Sorry, but this book isn't for children nor for anyone but perverts." Naruto shivered as he looked at the book in disgust, but his disgust was replaced by puzzlement when he saw the title, "The Tales of the Gutsy Ninja." Weird. This doesn't look like the kind of books Dad usually writes, but still, Jiraiya's name was in the cover. Naruto dared to see if his suspicions were correct and opened the book on a random page. Turned out that book wasn't smart, but apparently an adventure story of a ninja called Naruto. Hey, you are reading the book, and you said book isn't for children. Kaide loudly protested. Sorry, I thought that this was other kind of book, but it's okay. Children can read it. Do you want me to read it out to you? Yes, both twins said in unison. Naruto sat in one of the couches with the twins at his sides. He opened the book and saw that there was a handwritten discovery. This book is decided to my dedicated to my godson Naruto. Yeah, your parents liked this book so much that they decided to name you after the main character. Funny, right? Anyway, I hope you like this book as much as your parents did, and I hope it also inspires you to be a great ninja, better than the main character, and definitely better than me, your godfather, Jiraiya. Naruto smiled tenderly upon hearing uh, the dedication. And now he really wanted to read this book and wondered why Jiraiya never showed it to him in the first place. He had to write down all the questions he had. Okay, let's start. Naruto started reading the first page. Naruto Mugoshugi jumped from tree branches to tree branches while looking for his enemy. There was only one thing in his mind, protecting Shikuku, his home, at all costs. Pulling out a kunai, he readied from, "You damn traitor, I hope you rotten snake." At the last, Uchiha of the zone was silenced by Itachi's katana. With this, it was for the scores he formed the clan there. The clan here had slaughtered three, which were fighting against other Konoha ninja or guarding the concierge zone, and one team which was sent to hunt him after somebody warned the rest of the clan about Itachi killing spree. Even one of them were even close to killing or weren't even if none of them were even close to killing the Uchiha prodigy. Itachi was starting to feel tired. Reaching his pouch, he pulled a soldier pill and gulped it. He immediately felt his strength returning, but he knew he couldn't fight what was left of the clan by himself. Taking more than one soldier pill could have dangerous side effects, so some of them which were immediate. This was the last Uchiha squad in this trick. I have tracked another squad fighting against some Konoha ninja. They are 3 blocks away from the academy. The crow sat on his shoulder, informed him. Itachi nodded, headed to the academy with about what about Sasuke and Shishui? They didn't move since you left. The Karukazi clone said, "That's good. Besides, there's also what do you mean? Did something happen to Sasuke or Shisui?" Itachi asked, almost panicking. "No, it's not that. One of my clones found the Hokage. He's fighting against your father and the other Uchihas. It doesn't appear that the Hokage is winning. What? Damn it! Where are they? At the top of the Hokage Tower. Then that will be my next decision. This this nation. Itachi jumped from the rooftops to rooftops, heading towards the Hokage Tower. I hope I can be there in time. Fire release, great fireball jutsu, fire release, fire sage, fire jutsu. Phoenix Sage Fire Jutsu, the four remaining Uchiha had surrounded the Hokage and bombarded him with fire jutsu from every angle, dodging them. He wasn't an option. Fortunately, it wasn't his only option. Art release, multiple art dome jutsu. Rock appeared out of nowhere and formed once again a dome around the Hokage. However, another dome formed around the first one, and then a third one on top of that. The barrage of fireball destroyed the outer layers of the dome, but left 2 layers of the revolting inside unknown to the Uchihas. The Sarutobi was forming hand seals. Art release Death Ring Jutsu. The second dome suddenly shattered in thousands of spear rocks that flew outwards in every direction, impaling the four Uchihas, Fugaku, and the other two managed to avoid all the damage with a body replacement, but the third one wasn't fast enough and died the instant the sharp rock pierced his body, destroyed the dome before he cast the jutsu again. Fukaku ordered. The other Uchihas nodded. and threw several kunais with explosion tanks attached to them at the dome. The explosion shattered the rock shelter. Saratobi managed to escape the dome before exploding out harm him. Explosion could harm him. He wasted no time, made more hand seals, fire release, fire dragon flame bullet. Citizen reacted backwards. He exhaled a massive stream of white fire. Unfortunately for the Hokage, Fugaku Sharingan copied the jutsu fire release, fire dragon flame bullet. The jutsu started to the two stream of white fire clashed against each other, pushing back pushing back and forth. Though eventually Sarutobi's attack appeared to be the strongest. Unfortunately for Sarutobi, this wasn't a one-on-one duel. The two remaining Uchiha ran April to the stream of fire and unleashed a barrage of shurikens towards the Hokage, crashing inwards. He cancelled the current jutsu and jumped, avoiding the shuriken shower, though some of them grazed his skin. He nearly getting burnt by Fugaku's attack. Upon landing, Sarutobi nearly lost his balance and fell on the one knee and started to pant heavily. You know, he wasn't given all the trouble you gave me alone. I am sure that have you decided to keep some have you decided had you decided to keep some Anbu by your side, you would have come out of this alive, but this fight ends now. Fugaku said it. Why are you so sure, Fugaku-san? I already killed more than half of your men. What can possibly stop me from killing you and your two remaining squad mates? For starters, your age, while you are strong and clearly can't keep fighting for much longer. How old are you? 70? People your age aren't known for their resistance, known for their resistance, you barely have any chakra left. There's also all the blood you lost already due to the wounds made by the kunais and shurikens that you couldn't dodge. Your movement have become slower and sloppier as the fight went on, and you can barely stand on your feet. And lastly, the fact that you didn't realize that I just wrapped you in a genjutsu and my men already moved for the kill, Fugaku said, making a hand seals, dispelling the genjutsu. Suddenly, Sarutobi found his chest being impaled by two katanas being held by Fugaku's two remaining men, and adamantium staff dispelled into a cloud of smoke. He felt that what little energy had fading away, and in a few seconds he fell to the ground dead, not having enough time or energy to utter some words. You have been a strong opponent. Hiruzen Sarutobi history book will remember your violent stance, but violent stand. I can promise you that Itachi-san, I am afraid to tell you that the third Hokage had died. Kuruziya clone said, "Damn!" Itachi loudly cursed. If the Hokage would have only lasted a couple more minutes. How many men has father with him? Two, Itachi. Are you planning on fighting him even with the soldier feel you're already worn out? The crow asked. Yes, I do. And he just fought the third Hokage. He has to be way more drained than I am. I believe I can defeat him with my father out, and the Uchiha will be leaderless. The few remaining squads will be destroyed or forced to surrender, and coup will come to an end. I see that you made that you have made your decision. Is there something else I can do to assist you? No, not anymore. Kazuri-san, you have been a great help. I can continue alone. Please keep watching over Shishui and Sasuke until this madness ends. As you wish, Itachi-san. Good luck. The crow clone said before flying away. Thank you. Itachi couldn't help but wonder what He was going to tell Sasuke when everything was over. After all, he was going to kill their father, even if it was for a greater good. He was afraid that Sasuke wouldn't see it that way. No, I can't think about that. If I'm not focused, I wouldn't be able to put an end to this. This is all my fault for not acting sooner, Itachi inwardly said, pushing his confidence through aside confliction through aside. So forgive me, Sasuke. Upon reaching the Hokage Tower, Itachi pulled out several shurikens from his tool pouch, grabbing a handful on each hand. In a few jumps, he managed to reach the roof, leap over his father and two unsuspecting teammates, and unleash the remaining of the metal. Fugaku managed to see Itachi in time, activated his Sharingan, and using his katana deflected the shurikens aimed at him. The two other Uchihas, their guards lowered due to their apparent victory, and their sensor senses momentarily dulled by the exhaustion and wounds received, didn't notice the newcomer and died almost instantly. Itachi landed in front of him, his katana on hand. Look how decided to show up. Fugaku spat in disgust, but I'm afraid that you are too late, son. The old geezer is no more. To save the Hokage, but not to end this madness. Not even you, a long shot, Itachi calmly replied. Not by a long shot, Itachi calmly replied. I have already killed half of the clan, the other half being deflected by the Konoha forces as we speak. Sorry, father, but you already lost, and now I shall execute you for starting this insurging against Konoha, killing the Hokage and causing the death of so many Konoha ninja. Fukaku's face turned into anger. Grin. You insult this child. I know you are rebellious, but to see such a betrayal coming from my own flesh and blood, the others were right about you. I merely banished you because I thought that you only needed some time alone to get your thoughts in order. But yes, I was too soft. If you weren't my son, I would have probably thrown you into a cell and tossed the key away, which is what I should have done in the first place. I am not a traitor, father. My loyalty has been and will be towards the village. This is you who it's you who have betrayed Konoha by tracking this insertion that wouldn't bring anything good for any of your any of the parties involved. Why did you do it, father? Why? I did it for you. You're ungrateful. You ungrateful child. For both you and Sasuke to give the clan a better future, the Uchiha clan would wither and die under the constant opposition of Konoha. But now you just doomed all of us. Stop pinning the blame of your actions on me, father. This was never meant to end well. I merely addressed the invasion and cut some losses. Had I not done anything, this would have descended into a full-on civil war that would end up with Konoha's destruction. My only regret is not acting sooner. If I can't have Konoha, then Konoha won't have the Sharingan anymore. I will gather the survivor and start over again. Somewhere else, we will even create our own village. The Uchiha clan will thrive again. You are right that father will you are right that the Uchiha will thrive again, but they won't do it under your command. Itachi firmly started as he raised his katana. The time of wars had passed. Not it's now. It's time for you to pay for your treason. Now it's time for me to correct my mistakes. I won't let you jeopardize my future or your. No, of my clan. Father and son dashed towards each other, staring at each other in the eye. When they were within their striking range, they moved their blades. Itachi aimed at Fugaku's gut and Fugaku aimed at Itachi's neck. Fugaku's sword hit his mark the first. Itachi was stopped on his track the moment Fugaku's blade jammed into on his neck. I am sorry, son. A single tear fell from Fugaku's eyes. He suddenly felt his eyes burning as if his Sharingan changed into something else. However, Itachi suddenly turned into a murder of crows that flew away in a very direction. The Fugaku saw a blade bursting through his chest. His heart had been pierced. It was me who is sorry, Itachi replied, tears coming from his eyes as life started to slowly leave his body. The soon-to-be former Uchiha a leader was enveloped by overwhelming sense of regret as if the hate and anger towards Konoha that filled his chest and mind was dispelled and could see things as they were and realized that both Hiruzen and Itachi's words were right. Why is only in death that I find clarity? Fugaku bitterly thought. Itachi, take care of Sasuke, I will, father. And thus Fugaku Uchiha left the world of the living. Itachi removes his hand from the katana as healed, and Fugaku's lifeless body fell onto the ground. Itachi also fell on his knees and started to cry inconsolably. All the rage and all the sorrow, all the emotion that he had been bottling for so much time couldn't be held anymore. But his grief was infected by a sharp pain attacking his eye. He felt like they were burning, the same feeling that his father experienced seconds before dying. Then he then remembered a conversation he had with Shishui about the Sharingan evolving after experiencing the loss of a loved one. Itachi had awakened the Mongeki. A soft ground snapped Itachi out of his trance. He turned around to saw that it came from the Hokage. Hokage-sama, are you alive? Itachi shouted as he rushed towards the body of the fallen Hokage. He got no answer, but Sarutobi moved a little. Okay, try to keep your energy. I will find some help. Itachi picked some of his some blood and made several hands. He was summoning jutsu. From a cloud of smoke, one of the clones of Karukuzi appeared. So soon? What's going on? Itachi-san, the black-haired Blackbird said before noticing the dying Hokage. So, find a medic, please. We don't have much time. Yes, immediately. Nothing there. There was no time to ask questions. Fuzu flied away while mentally transmitting the orders that to the rest of his clones. Much to Itachi's bewildered, a few minutes later, one of the clones returned carrying a slug between his claws. The sun was starting to emerge from the east, while Tsunade and Shizune were channeling their chakra through the impressive healing network. They were surprised to see none of the Katsui clones crawling as fast as she would towards them. While Tsunade and Shizune were channeling their chakra through the impressive healing network, they were surprised to see one of the Katsui clones crawling as fast as she could towards them. Tsunade-sama, Shizune-sama, the small slug said, the coup d'etat has been stopped. Combats had crushed already. We have healed all the wounded, and there is no more people in danger. The slug announced. There are good news indeed. Thanks for your help again, Katsui-sama. Shizune replied. For the first time in some since the coup smiled. For the first time since the coup began. Then she looked back at Tsunade, who looked like she was going to collapse at any time. Come on, Tsunade-sama, we need to take you back to the hospital. The kids. Tsunade muttered, check on the kids first, right? I will be back in a minute. Shizune went back into the house, and much to her relief, she saw that the secret A trapdoor remained intact. She unsealed the seal and entered the shelter. What she saw was so cute. She had to restrain herself from squealing. The three kids were asleep on the couch, Naruto in the middle with Hanage and Kaede resting on their on heads on Naruto's shoulder, with Naruto's arm wrapped around each of them. Naruto had an open book on his lap. Naruto did his best to try to keep his siblings not to panic. Oh, you're such a good big brother, the medic ninja thought. As her mouth formed a sweet smile, it almost pained me. It almost pained me having to wake you up after walking up to the kids. The four of them headed outside, and much to their horror, they saw Tsunade laying on the ground motionlessly. Tsunade-sama, mom! She is still alive, the Tsumi clone quickly said as if guessing their converted thoughts, but her chakra is nearly depleted. She needs assistance as soon as possible. Shizune nodded. Come on, kids, help me bring your mom to the hospital. Sasuke awakened in the next day as usual. He got dressed and got out of his room. His house seemed unusually silent. The young Uchiha felt that there was something wrong going on. Mother, father, Sasuke asked, but got no response. Weird, his parents always got up at least an hour before he did. He went to the lower floors and inspected the rest of the house and found it empty. Then he heard a noise coming from upstairs. The black-haired boy rushed back to upper floors and saw Itachi coming in through one of the windows. Itachi? Sasuke asked, puzzled. He would be thrilled to see his brother if it wasn't for the fact that his clothes were soaked in blood, his face was red, and his entire body was trembling. What are you doing here, Sasuke? Let's go down. There's something important I need to tell you. That morning Sasuke awakened his Sharingan. Thanks to Itachi and Tsunade's effort, the Uchiha coup was surrendered by the time the sun rose, and so many people were saved from what would have been a certain death. Among them was Hiruzen Saitobi, while in catastrophic condition, managed to keep his life thanks to the Katsuki clone Kakuze managed to bring until actual medic arrived. Many couriers were sent to find the many couriers were sent to find the Jonin outside the village, urging them to drop or finish if they could whatever mission they were doing and return at once in order to help with the reconstruction effort. Upon hearing the news of their failure and their leaders, few Uchihas left decided to go down fighting rather than surrender, since they knew that they would be executed anyway for committing an act of highest treason. The mercenary and crimes who didn't escape Konoha when it became obvious that they were fighting a losing battle to surrender instead. Those who had confirmed kills would be executed, while the rest would be sent to prison. A mass funeral was held in honor of all the people, both ninja and civilian, who were killed during the incursion. While many people died, the most notable deaths were those of the clan heads such as Hiyashi Hyuga or Inoichi Yamanaka. Naruto did his best to comfort Hinata, who, like her mother and little sister, spent the entire ceremony crying their eyes out. Eyes out. Hinata's grief was contagious since Naruto ended up crying as well. Even if he barely knew Hiyashi, it would be sad that he could feel Hinata's pain. Naruto also realized three of his classmates, Shikamaru, Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Shikamaru, Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Yamanaka crying profusely as they were standing in front of Inoyachi's grave. While Ino's grief was understandable, he didn't understand why Shikamaru and Shoji were crying like that. Naruto didn't know that the three clans were very close and Inuichi was an honorable uncle to both Shikamaru and Shoji. There was also another funeral held after the main one, for Fugaku and Mikoto Uchiha. At Itachi's request, only Itachi, Shisui, and Sasuke, the three remaining Uchiha alive, attended the ceremony. After the coup was quelled, there was an air of dread and hopelessness emitting the very air of Konoha, something that it wasn't felt since the Kyuubi attack 8 years ago. The near death of the third Hokage was a huge blow to the population, especially the ninjas. Not only was he loved and respected, but unlike his successor, who was killed by what most people believe it was a mindless monster, Hiruzen Sarutobi was almost killed by the head of one of the most respected clans of Konoha. Besides that, many people couldn't help but wonder what was to be of Konoha now. Losing one of its strongest clan was nothing but the tip of the iceberg. The Hyuga clan was the most numerous clan of Konoha, had lost nearly a 40% of its members, and Konoha as a whole had lost almost 30% of its manpower, most of them Chunins and special Jonis. This loss, coupled with the lack of a Hokage, had many people fearing that other villages would take advantage of this and invade them. The only thing they could do was pray for such thing not to happen, and that Konoha would elect a Hokage soon that would recover their former glory. 2 days after the coup d'etat, Jiraiya rushed through the hospital halls fearing for the worst. The toad Sannin had an unpleasant sense of deja vu when a ninja courier ran into him and delivered the news of Uchiha coup d'etat and critical state of the third Hokage. While the news was roaring on his own, the courier also mentioned that Tsunade, after being seriously wounded, used her immense healing network to helping all the people fighting against the Uchiha and their mercenaries. She was on in critical condition as well. 8 years ago, he lost one of his students. He could possibly lose a student whom he loved like a father he never met. He couldn't lose his wife though too. Couldn't lose his wife too. After making sure that he was in the right wing, Joraiya started to check the door numbers until he found the right door. He slammed the door open and, much to his relief, he saw that his former teammate's current wife and mother of his children was still alive, seemingly well. Shizune, Naruto, Hanage, and Kaide were present too, but he wasn't restrained their presence until later registered their presence until later. Dad, Naruto said, "Hey, look who's back," Tsunade weakly mentioned, looking at Jiraiya with a small smile. Jiraiya didn't say anything and rushed to hug. "Oh, not so hard," Tsunade shouted, winching in pain. "I have been impaled, you know." "Sorry, sorry, sorry," Jiraiya frantically replied, breaking the hug. "It's that when they told me that what happened to you, I feared for the worst, and seeing you alive and well." "Yeah, yeah, I know," Tsunade replied, dismissing, though they mentioned that it will be a few weeks before they let you out of here. "Yep, yeah," she added, unenthusiastically. Jiraiya smiled in return. Then he noticed something weird at Tsunade's forehead. Most likely her string of 1,000 healing seals looked different. It was bigger than usual, with uneven sides and angles. It almost looked a badly done drawing. "Tsunade, what happened to your seal?" "Oh, this," she asked, pointing at her forehead. "Well, Kaide was sad for me losing my diamond, so I made her a new one," the white-haired girl proudly said, while holding a purple marker, "and Mom made me another one too." Joraiya noticed that his daughter also had a diamond on her forehead, but this one looked better drawn. Joraiya couldn't help but smile at her daughter's cuteness antics. Joraiya, can you put some privacy seals around the room? I need to talk to you about something?" the Slug Princess asked. Joraya nodded, and after a few minutes, the toad says instructed that it was now safe to talk without fear of being spied. Tsunade-sama, do you want to tell? Take the? Do you want me to take the kids outside? Tsunade asks. Shizune asks, guessing what the topic of conversation was going to be. Yes, please take them to eat something. You should eat too, Shizune. Shizune nodded and left Joraya and Shizune alone in the room. After Shizune I I defeated the Uchiha sent to arrest us. Somebody else appeared, a masked man wearing an Akatsuki cloak. Said man had a Sharingan and could use wood release. What? Joraya asked in disbelief. But that's not the worst part. The man flat out admitted that he was the one. Flat out admitted that he was the one behind the Kiwi attack 8 years ago. He said that he was using the coup d'etat as a smokescreen to get Naruto and finish the job. Jiraiya was speechless. He knew that the person behind such attack had to be someone powerful, but this was beyond his wildest guesses. He couldn't help but feel worried about Naruto. If such a man was after him, Naruto needed to be strong. Hell, Konoha as a whole needs to be stronger. Fortunately, somebody was about to handle him the necessary tools for such tasks. There was a knock at the door. Jiraiya deactivated the privacy while Tsunade told whoever was outside to come in. It was an Anbu with a bear mask. Jiraiya-sama, the council of eight elders requires your presence at the Hokage Tower. The Anbu announced. The toad Sannin growled while form appeared on his frown appeared on his face. Ah, wonder that those old farts want now. Sarutobi Sensei is no longer able to continue as the Hokage. It isn't it obvious? They want you to take his place. Tsunade motioned. Ha ha ha. Me Hokage. That's a good one. Hime Jurai replied, genuinely chuckling. Thanks for the joke. I really needed to laugh anyways. I will come to see you later. Soon Jiraiya gave Tsunade a kiss on her lips before leaving the room. Hokage Tower. Oh, Kami, you guys aren't joking. Jiraiya's face turned into a glimmer. Sitting in front of him were Hiromu Mikodra and Kahuro Utatans, Sarutobi's former teammates and later counsel after retiring from ninja duties. Did we look like we were joking? Hamura crossed his arms annoyed. Well, you guys look like you don't even know meaning of the word fun. That's why I was all the more shocked. Joraya responded, making the elders to form around. Listen, Joraya, we lost two Hokage in less than a decade. Not to mention our recent losses, we need to appoint a new Hokage as soon as possible. And sadly for everybody, you are our best candidate. Kahuro said, "Come on, it. I would be stuck. I would suck at being Hokage. There has to be a better candidate, better than me." Joraya protested. Danzo-san also talked with us about giving him our support to become Hokage. A better candidate that's not a sociopath. A better candidate that's not a sociopath. Listen, we aren't going to support you because we like you or even because we think you will be a great Hokage. We are going to do it because it is what Hiruzen wanted. Hamura calmly explained. Listen, I know what that Zarutobi sensei had faith in me as a ninja, but me being Hokage, I find that hard to believe. Or did he wake up from his coma already and told you guys? Then it would be a good thing. You don't have to believe just us. Yamura said while leaving the scroll in front of the Sannin. We found this on Hiruzen's desk. Maybe you should read it. Spectacular Jiraiya took the scroll and opened it. It appeared to be Sarutobi's last will. The Sannin started to read it. If you are reading this, then I am more likely dead. Probably by the by the hands of Fugaku Uchiha or one of his clansmen. Many years ago, we had some evidence that supported that at least an Uchiha was responsible for the QB attack 8 years ago. Some believed that it was the whole clan. I didn't share this opinion, and even starting an investigation to extricate the excontrate the clan. Still, it seems that word of this was made public. The popular of Konoha distrusted the Uchihas, and the Uchihas resented Konoha in return. I tried my best to solve the situation peacefully, but my efforts failed. But then again, I can't think what I should have done. All of the clans swiftly exclaimed by a group of assassins, and honestly, I can see myself doing that and continue to be able to sleep at night. I can think what I could have done, have done save have all the clan swiftly executed by a group of assassins, and honestly I can see myself doing that and continue to be able to sleep at night, but that doesn't change the fact that I failed this village. Now I see that maybe I should have never taken the Hokage's hat after I was unable to handle the third ninja world war better. I tried to think of this a second chance to fix my past mistakes, but this was the end of all I did was a mistake, even more even more mistaken. Now I see that I should have appointed either Jiraiya or Tsunade as the fifth Hokage when they return to take care of Minato's son Naruto. But now I'm going to fix one of those mistakes. Jiraiya, Tsunade, I know that sooner or later you will be re- reading this. I want one of you to take a step forward and lead the village. Both you have the perfect combination of power, experience, and wisdom. I like to think I have, but wisdom I just like I have to wisdom I like to think I have, but without my old age to hinder you. You may think that this is too much for you, but I have faith in you. Konoha needs you more than ever, and if the years you have spent here didn't reawaken your love for this village, do it at least for Naruto. Try to keep this village in one piece until he's old enough to take the mantle. I believe that there's some truth behind that little rascal's boasted. I feel that Fugaku and his clansmen are getting closer, so I will wrap this up. First of all, don't lose your hope and keep the wheel of fire in your heart. That's the key for Konoha to recover the glory it will invisibly lost this night. Second, I know for a fact that at least the two Uchihas are not a part of this instruction. Don't ostracize them and any other Uchiha not involved in this, or blame them for any sins they are misguided clansmen. And lastly, since I won't see them again, I want you to tell my sons and grandchildren that I love them more than anything, and that both Byakuya and me will watch over them from the pure world. Hiruzen Sarutobi, third Hokage of Konoha. The two council watched instantly how Jiraiya expression changed after he read the whole letter, especially the part that talked about him and Tsunade. Once they guessed that the Sannin finished reading, they spoke again. Like the letter says, the other candidate for Hokage would be your wife, but she still will be stuck on a hospital bed for quite some time if what the Anbu told us is right. And we can't wait that much, Koharu said. Besides, we also believe that taking Tsunade away from the hospital to place her on the Hokage office would be a diversion to the decessing to the village. Not only our healthcare has improved considerably since she took charge of the hospital, but the number of medic ninja as well as their overall skills has increased considerably since her return. Hamura explained. You made it sound as if I only sit at home and write my novels. I do work for the village too, you know. I am the main intelligence gatherer for the village, Jiraiya protested. True, but I am sure that you can send somebody else to meet your spies or train other people in the art of collect information, but we cannot just ask the medic of Tsunade's caliber to stay at an office doing paperwork. So Jiraiya around loudly after part of him was ready to regret already regretting coming back to the village. Taking care of Naruto was doable, but being Hokage not in 1,000 years. But then again, the thought of handling the Hokage mantle to Danzo was nightmarish, to say the least. Sighing in defeat, Jiraiya was forced to admit that he had the only one choice. Alright, I will become the new Hokage. Excellent. We will announce your promotion this afternoon. Later that day, something during the afternoon, Joraiya had been so nervous. It hadn't been so nervous in his whole life. Well, maybe the day before his wedding, but then again, he was only marrying to one woman. This was more like being married to the entire village, while the two elders were talking to the people gathered around the tower. Hiruzen was at Shizune was adjusting his robes and making sure that it was presentable. Naruto, Kaire, and Hanage were present as well. So how do I look? Jiraiya asked, absolutely impressive. Jiraiya-sama, Hiruzen Shizune beamed. Jiraiya, however, frowned in return. Listen, Shizune, I'm still trying to work out what kind of relationship you and Tsunade he may have, but drop the honorifics when talking to me, okay? Jiraiya is enough. The Sannin replied he really wanted to tell her that for a long time. Given that you are about to become Hokage, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Shizune started, never losing her smile. The Jiraiya scroll deepened, and without further ado, meet the fifth Hokage. Hamura's voice yelled. She said, "That's your cue, Jiraiya-sama. Go and impress them." Shizune patted Jiraiya on the back. "Yeah, you can do it, Dad." Hanage cheered. We will be here cheering you." Kai then added, "Soon you will be the second best Hokage of this village ever had." Naruto said. Jiraiya looked at him puzzled. "Second best? Who's the best then?" "Oh, never mind. I see what you did there." Naruto chuckled in return. Wasting no time, Jiraiya walked towards the edge of the tower and took a look at the huge crowd below him. They were silent, expecting him to say something. He will better not keep them waiting. People of Konoha, Jiraiya began with his speech. Usually, the promotion of a new Hokage is a reason to celebrate, yet I can see that nobody here feels in the mood to celebrate anything. Konoha went through one of its darkest moments, second only to the Kyuubi attack. Many good ninjas died, parents lost children, and children lost their parents. However, I ask you not to be concerned by the grief and start strong, because we already went through something similar not too long ago, and we were back on our feet in no time. And this time it won't be different. Our beloved third Hokage, my sensei, might not be with us anymore, but his will and the will of fire is still is. The third Hokage would have all of you to move on with your lives, to be happy, to keep the village strong and running. That's why I am going to honor my master's last request and become the Hokage and work as hard as I can to honor his legacy. And that's why you are going to do likewise. So everybody who wants to harm us knows that this village can resist anything. People started to cheer loudly once Jiraiya finished his speech. All present members of Jiraiya's family smiled at him. He has always been such a good operator. It's a pity Tsunade-sama isn't here to see him. She would have loved it. Shizune thought. Orochimaru's main base land of rice fields. After much time waiting, Obito appeared from his trademark Shishuin vortex and looked as if he had been trampled and of a mad elephant. His cloak was completely drawn. His mask was merely broken. His body had multiple bruises and a whole arm was missing. Another Akatsuki member was expecting his arrival. Welcome back, Obito-kun. Orochimaru safely greeted, chuckling. It seems that Tsunade Hime had a number on you, didn't she? First Mikoto-kun, Minato-kun, and now her. You need to pick your battles better, Obito-kun. Shut up, Obito growled as he took his broken mask and tossed it away and appeared the operation table. Yes, it looks like you need some surgery as if there's no tomorrow. You know, Orochimaru, if I didn't need you, I would have killed you long time ago. Obito snaggled angrily at the snake. His son is turned. If you think so, Obito shrugged, at no point dropping his unwavering smile, unnervously smile. While I don't need to ask how the main mission went, did you at least get some of us out of the some use out of this mess? Without saying anything, Obito pulled out three spinning scrolls from inside his torn cloak and tossed it at Orochimaru, the yellow-eyed man, unsealed it constantly. The one was a peel of pair of Byakugan eyes. The second was a single pair of just a single pair of Byakugan eyes, and the last one was a single pair of Sharingan. A nice lot, but I think mine is better. Is there a reason of this Byakugan are separate from the rest? Yes, they are the eyes of the Hyuga clan head. You can have some of the others if you want, but I need those eyes specially, so don't touch them. While Orochimaru was tempted to ask more about that, but he felt that Obito would be in mood to satisfy his curiosity. But not that it mattered. He could learn about Obito's secret plan on his own later. By the way, how about the modification I made to your body, even if they weren't of any help in the end? Did you notice any improvement? Yes, it took less effort to use wood relays, but I still can't give any jutsu all the power I would like. Baby steps over the kun, baby steps. Sometimes science doesn't advance as fast as we wish. That's why we first procedure was to find a way to prolong my lifespan beyond its natural limits. Then you should have then you should make to find a way to improve my body even further. Your first opportunity now, at least as long as you want to continue providing us with more genetic medical materials from Hashirama. You hurt my feelings over the cone. My work is always proceeded the best result. So what shall it be, the Byakugan or the Sharingan? The latter. I see. Do you miss having two of them? Because I certainly would have chosen the former for additional visuality. I have my reasons. Orochimaru now prepared the damn operation table. Of course, Obito wasn't going to tell the snake Sannin about about Shisui's eyes. Special property is not anybody in the Akatsuki for that matter. Trust wasn't something you could find in the organization almost exclusively composed by criminals. A few minutes later, Obito was stabbed and strapped to the operation table. Orochimaru looked at him from the above with a sadistic smile. If only all his dead subjects had Obito's enthusiasm and eagerness. Alright, let's start with the eye, and then I will fix the rest of your body. Do you want anesthetics? Orochimaru pulled out a syringe full of greenish liquid. You should know better already. Obito spat at him. No, no, no anesthetics then. The snake Sanin put the syringe away and pull out the scalpel. Then let me tell you that I am going to that this is going to hurt a lot, but you should But you should know that already, shouldn't you? Guess the attempt at the imitating me, Snake. I don't feel any pain anymore. I wonder what our leader would say about that. That's all for this part. And if you wanna be notified future parts, then the best way is subscribing. And yeah, I have a Discord server. So if you wanna watch, or if you wanna join the Discord server, the link to it will be in the description. So just join it, and we will be able to talk there. But yeah, that's all for this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.